From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now all the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Tuesday, August 24th. Another very hot and humid day. We are under a heat advisory for your Tuesday. There are some isolated showers possible before sunset, but the headline for the day is the heat. The highs are going to get into the low to mid 90s, but the heat index values will be over 100 degrees for some areas. So please be careful out there. Drink plenty of water and make sure you know where the closest air conditioning is. A change in course for one central Indiana school. Noblesville East Middle School is switching to online learning in hopes of slowing the spread of COVID-19. The number of children getting sick is spiking there and across the state. According to the Indiana State Health Department, there are more than 3,500 new positive COVID cases among students. News 8's Hannah Mordeau counted the dashboard numbers herself this morning and found that since August 1st, there have been more than 5,200 total COVID cases among Indiana students. For Noblesville East Middle School, enough students are out to switch to online learning. The school reports more than 60 positive cases and 200 quarantined students since August 3rd. All athletics and other activities are canceled through at least August 31st. The school says the move is temporary, but school leaders are citing a spike in illness like the district has never seen before, with more than 20% of the school community out sick. The school says the 20% of students missing class does include students with illnesses other than COVID-19, but does not account for students who had close contact with people who tested positive. According to the district, the two teams of students with about 100 students each were quarantined earlier this month. President Biden is addressing concerns about COVID-19 cases among children, saying they are still rare and severe cases among children are very rare. But parents have two tools to keep their kids safe. First, make sure everyone around your child who can be is vaccinated and mask up.
Make sure your child is masked when they leave home. That's how we can best keep our kids safe.
The temporary virtual learning for students at Noblesville East Middle School starts this morning. The district says so far no other Noblesville schools have been impacted. One of the nation's leading health experts is setting a timeline for a return to normal. Dr. Anthony Fauci says he believes we could see some return to pre-pandemic times within a year.
If we can get through this winter and get really the majority, overwhelming majority of the 90 million people who have not been vaccinated, I hope we could start to get some good control in the spring of 2022.
The push to end the pandemic comes amid a huge milestone, the first COVID-19 vaccine to get full FDA approval. The full okay of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine is also getting a big thumbs up from a former Surgeon General. Dr. Jerome Adams, Wish TV's medical expert, says he's ecstatic.
I think it's going to give a lot of people confidence to go out there and get that shot. About a third of people who are unvaccinated have said that the fact that the vaccine was not fully approved was a major part of their reason for distrust. So if you're one of those people out there, I encourage you, go to vaccines.gov and make an appointment today.
Adams says the change will encourage more organizations to urge vaccinations or create mandates. One of Indiana's busiest attractions is capping attendance to slow the spread. Holiday World and Splash and Safari in Santa Claus urges you to have a ticket before you arrive to make sure you're not turned away at the gate. It's COVID-19 policies. This morning, daily attendance is capped. People looking to buy tickets will have to select a date online to reserve their spot. Holiday World is also advising that some food stands and attractions may be closed during different times of the day due to staffing. Everyone is encouraged to wear masks indoors, regardless of vaccination status. The CDC does report that as of the latest numbers, half of the United States population is fully vaccinated. That's more than 171 million people. Also, the CDC reports that more than 92 million of those people got the Pfizer vaccine, which again is fully FDA approved. The babysitter charged in the death of an 11-month-old is due in court today. Justin Miller faces a charge of neglect of a dependent resulting in death. The Marshall County coroner says Mercedes Lane died from blunt force injuries to the head. Miller led officers to the baby's body in Stark County days after she was reported missing. Lane's parents are also facing charges in the case. Kenneth Lane and Tiffany Coburn are charged with neglect. There is a virtual G7 summit to be held today, gathering for an emergency meeting to discuss the ongoing crisis in Afghanistan. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson is expected to urge other G7 members to strengthen support for refugees and humanitarian aid. That's according to CNN. The leaders are also expected to press President Biden to extend his August 31st evacuation deadline. The worry is that it may not be enough time to get everybody out. Military advisors have told the president he has until today to decide on an extension. However, the Taliban said in an interview with Sky News that the deadline is a red line the U.S. cannot cross, and any extension would provoke a reaction. White House officials reported yesterday that nearly 11,000 people were evacuated from Kabul over a 12-hour stretch. Nearly 10,400 people were evacuated in the previous 24-hour period. Kathy Hochul is now the governor of New York. She tweeted a photo shortly after taking the oath of office at midnight, shaking hands, being sworn in by the state's chief judge. Hochul is expected to take part in a full swearing-in ceremony later today. She takes control over the state government 2 weeks after Andrew Cuomo announced his resignation rather than face a likely impeachment battle over sexual harassment allegations. Cuomo recorded a farewell message yesterday. In the video, he touts accomplishments and criticizes the Attorney General's report on the claims. Cuomo tweeted about Hochul, writing, "I believe she will step up to the challenge. I wish her every success." And the House could vote as early as today on President Biden's budget resolution. Negotiations stalled late last night. Democratic leaders announced votes would pick back up in today's session. A group of 9 moderate Democrats want to hold up the vote on the $3.5 trillion plan. The group is calling for the House to first approve the separate $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure deal. New Jersey Congressman Josh Gottheimer leads the group. He says the House should push the infrastructure deal through first and not wait or risk it. The plan has already passed through the Senate. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is scheduled to address inflation on Thursday. His speech comes as inflation is triggering sticker shock at the grocery store. The latest numbers show prices are going up for just about everything. Mandy Gaither takes a closer look at the numbers and what products are most affected.
The price hikes keep coming. Prices for everyday goods and services rose in July by 5.4% compared to a year ago, according to the Labor Department's Consumer Price Index.
We have pent-up demand, and we have big disruptions in supply, and they put pressure on prices.
Here's a look at the sticker shock people are experiencing right now. Women's dresses up about 19% in price over the last 12 months. Used car and gas prices up about 42%. Rental cars are up more than 73%. Experts say the pent-up demand for travel kept inflation hot.
It is not the 70s and the 80s, but it is 3 to 4% inflation that will last for much longer than most people expect.
Americans are also paying more at grocery stores. Apples and milk up 6% over the past year. Fresh fish up more than 8%. Meat up nearly 11%. One food distributor says the price hikes are concerning.
I've been doing this for 35 years. As far as I'm concerned, I'm scared to the point of, are they going to stop buying the product?
It's still cheaper to head to the grocery store and enjoy a home-cooked meal. The price of food in restaurants or takeout saw a 4.6% increase compared to this time last year.
Well, we have to eat, so what can I say? A lot of times I have to compromise.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Indiana's Attorney General is taking a stance against the Justice Department's plan to close the so-called ghost gun loophole. Todd Rokita signed a letter opposing the rule with 19 other attorneys general. The AGs accuse the federal government of going beyond its authority with the tighter regulations. The DOJ defines ghost guns as unmarked firearms that are often assembled from kits sold without background checks. Its proposal seeks to reclassify the definition of a firearm and make it easier for police to trace them. In the letter, the attorneys general say that Americans have the right to assemble guns. They strongly urge the department to reconsider its position. Tennessee is still grappling with the aftermath of deadly flooding. Search dogs are going door to door in devastated areas in the hopes of finding people alive. Jan Pombrins reports on the search for the missing.
It's hard to have hope.
Tragedy striking central Tennessee. Rising floodwaters claiming homes, businesses, schools, and lives. Among the dead, 7-month-old twins. A family member says the babies were swept out of their father's arms by the power of rushing waters.
It was rising about a foot every 30 seconds.
Now, the mission to find the missing is underway.
I mean, there's still a lot of debris in and along the creek that needs to be examined. And that's a painstaking process. We have to tear that apart a lot of times with equipment. We've been using dogs today to help with that search. And that can kind of help pinpoint where we might need to look.
6 to 8 inches of rain was forecast to fall in some places. Instead, over 17 inches fell, unleashing a catastrophe that brought widespread devastation, leaving people stranded on roofs waiting to be rescued.
If anything had to happen to me, I'd want my kid to live, so I put her up on the roof.
Maybe 10 miles of devastation in houses that's been removed from the foundation. I'm talking about houses that people can't even get into because the floors are gone. We're talking about people that's coming out or going back to their homes, their cars are gone.
That was Jan Pomerans reporting. The state emergency management director says crews will keep searching until everyone is found. The Indianapolis International Airport is hoping to rebuild its workforce by hosting a job fair. It started at 10 o'clock this morning. The Indianapolis Airport Authority is calling all Hoosiers who are without a job and are looking for work right away. A job fair, it's being held in the South Ticketing Hall. The airport's looking to fill dozens of positions in many areas like food and beverage, retail, warehousing, rental car service, auto mechanical work, maintenance, information technology, parking, procurement, public safety, and guest services. Lots of opportunities. There will be on-site interviews and immediate hiring for some positions. IAA Executive Director Mario Rodriguez has said that companies across the country are facing staff shortages, and we're seeing that trend play out here in Indy as well. The good news is we're hiring. Our concessionaires and rental car partners are hiring, and there's opportunity here for good people to do good work and build rewarding careers. So if you're going, that's what you need to know. You're encouraged to bring a resume, be ready to discuss skills, job experience, and capabilities. Indigo is also providing a limited number of day passes to get to and from the airport. There's also validated parking in the terminal garage. Face masks are required per federal mandate. There's a new effort to tunnel thousands of drivers under Indianapolis. Two groups are proposing to take the elevated section of I-65 and I-70 underground. ITMate's Jasmine Miner explains why the Indy Chamber of Commerce says the change could improve access and equality.
It would be a big change.
A highway is not just a highway when it's in an urban center.
But one the Indy Chamber of Commerce and Rethink Coalition says turning this into this would change the course of history.
It impacts our health and our well-being and the way we live.
President and CEO of Rethink Coalition, Brenda Friege, says when Interstate 65 and 70 were built back in the 1950s, communities of color were intentionally left out.
17,000 people were displaced. So, that damage was done from the highway.
That's part of the reason why they wanted to bring these changes, but it comes with a $2.8 billion cost.
What do you say to people who say this is just too expensive?
About a $500 million difference over about a period of 10 or maybe even 15 years.
Compared, he says, to just redoing the interstate as is.
Free up to 68 acres of land in downtown Indianapolis, create the opportunity for maybe $66 million in annual tax revenue.
Taylor Hughes, Director of Strategy and Special Projects at the Indy Chamber of Commerce, says their study shows the reconstruction would create 24,000 new jobs and is in line with President Biden's infrastructure bill.
Bipartisan infrastructure bill actually includes language that specifically addresses projects like this.
The plan right now is just a visionary one. They say the next step is to have a full engineered plan to bring to INDOT.
This kind of an opportunity just doesn't come up that often. It hasn't come up for about 50 some years. So now we get to design what we want and to envision the future and move into that future.
Jasmine Miner for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
INDOT works in 5-year plans. The vision for I-65 and I-70 downtown is not in the current 5-year plan. The Indy Chamber and the Rethink Coalition did propose the underground idea for the North Split that's under construction now, but INDOT told the groups that it was too late to make any changes there. And this is the last day for Colts fans to get up close to the action at training camp in Westfield. This comes on the tails of Carson Wentz's return to practice. Just 3 weeks removed from his foot surgery, the QB was going through drills without any apparent mobility issues. His recovery is ahead of the 5 to 12-week timeline originally given, opening the door to the possibility of a Week 1 appearance.
I'm optimistic, but we'll see. We'll see. Honestly, it's not fully my call, kind of like I was just saying. It's going to come down to the doctors and surgeons and trainers and seeing how we feel, and a lot will depend on how I respond and how the foot feels day after day after being out here.
When I first saw him popping around out there, I thought, ooh, that looks pretty good. And I've seen a little of it indoors, but just seeing out here on the grass and kind of at the speed he was moving, I thought he looked good. And the big question now is, how does it respond?
Grand Park is open for fans right now. It opened at 8 o'clock this morning. And in business headlines, apparently fans of the Colts are frugal. It's not a bad thing. Colts fans spend the 8th least on food and drinks at NFL games. Finance Buzz says fans spend an average of $80.13 at the games. The Colts fans were also toward the bottom in cash spent just on booze. When it comes to team merchandise and gear, Colts fans spent the least at $85 to $34. Ford has doubled its production target for the F-150 Lightning because of strong early demand. Ford plans to launch the truck in 2022 and plans to spend an additional $850 million to meet that target. Ford is targeting annual production of more than 80,000 in 2024, up from its prior target of more than 40,000. A group of Apple employees has launched a new website on Monday under the name #Apple2, as well as Twitter account @AppleLaborers, in an effort to collect accounts of workplace discrimination and harassment at the tech giant. The group is seeking stories from employees across Apple business that will help expose persistent patterns of misbehavior. The stories will be used to help craft a statement outlining changes that employees would like to see Apple make. Office building prices are tumbling amid COVID. Commercial Edge says buildings have been fetching lower prices. Commercial buildings are suffering from the Delta variant and lower than expected vaccination rates among Americans. And the National Association of Theater Owners, a gathering this week in Las Vegas, found in addition to the billions of dollars that U.S. moviegoers spent on tickets in 2019, they spent another $5 billion on dining and retail on the same day they went to the theater, meaning that moviegoers, movie theaters are helping other businesses stay afloat here. The analysis found that the movie theater industry supported nearly 400,000 jobs in 2019, including more than 150,000 direct cinema employees. Of course, they had to go back to 2019 to collect this data because in 2020, most movie theaters were shut down because of the pandemic. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
allindianapodcastnetwork.com.